Another Insta Live, this time with Bradley, who shared his story in Time magazine about his male factor infertility due to years of steroid abuse. Bradley candidly shares his journey to where he is now and how he's dealing physically and emotionally with male factor infertility. We also talk a lot about many issues that people dealing with infertility face, including sex life and the all-time favorite, other people's opinions about your journey. I hope you enjoy. So I want you to tell us about your early 20s, your mid 20s, your late 20s, and how you got here.
How did I get here? All right, so my early 20s were like most people in their early 20s. I was burning the candle at both ends. I got into bodybuilding probably in my late teens, probably like in 18, 19. And in my early 20s, I was actually also partying quite a bit. The extracurricular activities were of the illegal nature, to say the least. I worked in Vegas for a little bit, so you can imagine how that went. I've been in the gym business in and out since I've been 16. I started really getting into bodybuilding probably towards my mid 20s or like 24, where the steroid use that's where it really ramped up. Okay. So when you use steroids and performance enhancing drugs, there's called cycling. So you cycle on and cycle off when you do it the quote unquote smart way. I did that for probably the first 4 years of using steroids, and then from about 22 until about 27, I never really went off. I would have what I would call the blasting periods, where I would use mass amounts, to my coasting periods, where I use more or less what is a moderate, not a moderate dose, but what's prescribed to men who are on testosterone replacement therapy. I was using still a little more than that, even on my coasting. So I got into bodybuilding. I competed a few times. I've done a couple of strength competitions where obviously as well, I was still using performance enhancing drugs and steroids. And if anybody has questions, please chime in. And then towards, it was 2016. So that means I was 27 when I proposed to my wife, Brittany. And at the time, I was actually getting ready for my last show. And I had taken the steroid use to a point where 7 or 10 days beforehand, I went to then my fiance, and I told her I just couldn't do it anymore, because the pain, my joint pain, I got to another level. Not only did I not cycle off, I didn't get my blood drawn the way I should have. I never did any of the precautionary things that you should do when using illegal steroids. So then after that show, we had a conversation, and she was like, "All right, like, we're done. Like, this is the end of the line. Like, and I agreed. I was like, you're right. If I pull out of this show, because I put everything I had into that. So after that, like, I went cold turkey for a little bit, and that was pretty miserable. Just completely went off. Like, all my body no longer produces testosterone, for anybody that's wondering. And when I went cold turkey, for about, hi Mandy. Mandy's actually the journalist who interviewed me. Mandy, this is Monica. So when I went off all of the illegal steroids, what happened is my testosterone levels tanked. Kind of like what's happening right now, but a little more mild level. And I lasted for about, my wife will probably remember better than I do, but I think I lasted for maybe 6 weeks, until I tapped out, and I had to go to a hormone repair specialist, to put me on testosterone replacement therapy. And when I went to the doctor, maybe it was a little long. Maybe it was 7 weeks. See, thanks, babe. 7 weeks. But by the time I went to the doctor, my testosterone levels went from the thousands, like the 900 to 1100 area, down below 200, it's massive. And for anybody that doesn't know, your a woman's testosterone levels probably range between, I want to say, like 50 to like 125. Men's testosterone range at a healthy level should be between like 5 and 700.
Yeah.
I was under 200.
Yeah.
And we'll get into where I'm at now, which is even more exciting. But so I went on testosterone replacement therapy, and that was kind of my life until we got married. And when we got married, there was obviously the conversation of having children. So eventually, I don't know when, between wedding day and now, I think it was probably about a year, and I got my first semen analysis. And that's when all this began.
Yeah. When reality hit.
When the big fat 0 on your semen analysis shows up and it says you're azoospermic, and you go, what the hell? I never thought this was going to be me. How the hell did I get here?
Yeah. And I guess that's, the burning question for most people. I mean, you obviously went super extreme, and there's warning signs. There has to be warning signs. You're taking a legal substance, and you still did it.
So why did I do it?
So why?